I'll do a review, actually. You're with Julian on the Brown Note, and a review of the unbelievably terribly named Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I really hope that they've taken that off for most releases, but I don't know much about Lee Cronin, but I'll say this. He's only directed 3 films. The Hole in the Ground I haven't seen, but Evil Dead Rise was really good from 2023. I guess they've called it Lee Cronin's The Mummy for the reason that The Mummy has been used so many times. I think they should have put something after The Mummy that had something to do with the story and not use the director's name, which will immediately turn everyone off, as they don't even know who that is. But also, it just sounds cheesy. And that's down, like, there was a great film called The Covenant from Guy Ritchie, and it was deserving of so much more attention. It was like an Iraq war drama film. It was really good. And they called it Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It's just like, just change the name or something. So this is from the James Wan, Jason Blum, Blumhouse horror movie stable, which has thrown up some classics, modern classics, but also an enormous amount of terrible films as well. And this has got trashed by critics. And I don't get it. I thought it was excellent, nearly anyway. So we don't get the Tom Cruise version of The Mummy. We don't get the old school version of The Mummy. Happily, they've reframed it away from this sort of franchise-building superhero film to being a horror, much more in line with the likes of the Conjuring movies or that kind of thing. There's an ancient thing that's evil and it's going to enter your family home and cause chaos. But they do it quite well. I thought the setup was good. You've got a family living in ridiculous houses throughout this film, despite, I think one of them's a nurse and the other's like a low-rent journalist. But they live in these amazing places. But they're in Egypt, and they've got 2 children and another one on the way. And the younger daughter's outside playing, and this woman comes up to her and she's been giving her chocolate. She's been grooming her every day and kidnaps her, which is actually pretty terrifying. It happens during a sandstorm. It's pretty terrifying. And then we will go forward 8 years to them being back in the United States, and their daughter's been missing for 8 years. And the guy's still working in journalism, and they've got another younger daughter, and they're living with the woman's mother in these horror houses. You'd put up with monsters if you could have a house this big. It would take you half an hour to walk around. Like, where do they get these places? Anyway, so the daughter reappears. So there's a plane crash in Egypt, and there's a sarcophagus in this plane crash. And in the sarcophagus is their daughter, who now looks actually physically disgusting. Really hard to look at. It's a gross film. If you've got a weak stomach, this is not for you at all. I think you can follow the plot lines from there. The one area where I thought this stood out, and it's got hammered for being too convoluted, I felt the opposite. I thought this was it earned its 2-hour, 20-minute runtime. It's got this sideshow, which is an Egyptian cop in Egypt is actually pursuing the case and finding out information. But the way she does it is very much reminiscent of something like The Killing, or one of those Nordic sort of murder mystery thrillers that make TV series. And she sort of like segues into what's happening in America, which is obviously the family are gradually being taken over by the possessed daughter. I thought there were some really good performances in this. And they're mostly women who look around the same age and are broadly analogously similar looking. Not quite, but nearly there. Like Layla Costa as the wife. I thought Jack Rayner as the dad, even though he does something very heroic at the end. I thought he was a little bit too Seth Rogen for me, a little bit vanilla. The wife, Layla Costa, she's a terrific Spanish actress. May Calamawy, where's she from? She is Egyptian. She was terrific as a cop. As I said, like the lead actress from The Killing reminded me of her. Very sort of resolute, always seems to be working on her own for some reason. And then there was who was the villainous woman who kidnapped the daughter? Hayat Kamil. Where's she from? Iraqi British. Now she was excellent as well. She's the what we find out is a family that are passing a demon down from generation to generation. She was great. And the ending was good as well. Now, I thought there was a lot to love about this film. It doesn't really set any new standards in any direction, but it's done. I thought this was a lot better than the Conjuring or the Nun movies, occupying a very similar ground. I thought it was a lot straighter, harder edged. It is certainly a lot more grotesque than those films. Some of the gore is really bad in this, unexpectedly so. And there's lots of gonzo. I love gonzo. Anything that's gonzo in a film where it's just mad and you're just going, what the hell just happened? There's quite a few moments like that in this film. The kids remarkably aren't annoying, which is a rarity in Hollywood films. And I thought the story progression, even though you kind of know where it's going with any of it, reminded me, it was closer to the movie Sinister than it was to the Conjuring movies. So it's a little bit starker, a little bit more anxiety inducing, a lot more violent and gory. And to its benefit, because there were certain sequences in there where my jaw hit the floor. I was like, you can't be serious. And I enjoyed it. I thought it had legs. I thought the characters, those three women in it, were excellent. And it looked really good as well. It was quite well shot. So I think compared to some of the Blumhouse, James Wan popular movies, this wipes the floor with it. So why has it got absolutely trashed? The Mummy, as I'm going to call it, I'm going to give a very solid 7.5 out of 10.